Welcome everybody to Let's Play EVE Online. As always, I'm your host, J Squared John Jeremy. Now I know, J Squared, EVE Online, really? Yeah, really. It's already well known that games and I have a love-hate relationship. I love them and they hate me. And yet I continue to play them, and record them. So in actuality, it should come as little surprise that the next game that's going to be appearing on my channel is EVE. Now, for those of you who don't understand what I'm talking about, let me go ahead and shed some light on the subject. EVE Online is a space, massively multiplayer online game, and not your average one. Since coming out in 2003, the difficulty of the game and the severity of the steep learning curve has been well documented. But ask an EVE player if they enjoy playing the game, and more often than not, you're going to get a resounding yes and a sterling review. So thus we arrive at this point. Now, I may receive questions in the comments section saying, J Squared, why don't you just continue your Star Trek Online Let's Play? I enjoyed that. Well, so did I. In fact, I enjoyed it so much that I actually went back and tried to do it again. I re-downloaded the client, logged in with my username, and tried to play the game again. Interesting things have happened in Star Trek Online. And while they're not bad in a way, it's different. And I'm not really comfortable with the changes that have been made thus far. It may take me some time to get used to them, but I thought it better to try to play a new space MMO. I was actually waiting for, and if any of you actually know what this game is, I applaud you. I was waiting for a game to come out, what was supposed to be another space MMO called Jumpgate Evolution. Now, I had been keeping up on this game for years. And finally in 2009 or 2010, the studio shut down, the developers shut it down. And is very sad, because it had been something that I've been looking forward to. It was around that same point that I finally installed EVE for the first time. This was back in April or May of 2010. And I played it for about a month. And in that month, ladies and gentlemen, I found what I had been looking for. EVE Online is what I'm going to be showcasing to you now, and we're going to enjoy it, I believe. Let's go ahead and get started, shall we? First things first, let me type in my super secret online password, and I believe what's going to come next is going to be the opening video for you all to watch. So I'll shut up and hope you enjoy the video.
Connecting. You are about to become what all men should fear. You will roam the heavens, commanding the most powerful machines ever built. So unbound that not even death itself can claim you. For you are immortal, with all eternity to seize a destiny that is yours to define. But you are not alone with such power. Other demigods roam these stars as well. And they are no less driven to succeed, or to rule, as you. There are more paths than one to greatness. If you have intellect, you will survive the darkest days. If you have courage, you will claim the bounties of man and nature. If you have patience, you will amass the wealth of empires. And if you can lead, there is no limit to what you can become. What you dare to become rests on your will to be bold. Dare to be bold, pilot. Forge your own path to greatness.
Forge your own path to greatness. That's what EVE Online tells you to do. And in actuality, they do a very good job of giving you the freedom of bringing that back in whatever way possible. Now, this is the character screen if you have already created a character on EVE Online. I have made a test character named John Jeremy, and basically I tested this once to see if everything went well with recording, and it did. So we're going to go ahead and create a brand new character. Unfortunately, I won't be able to use the John Jeremy name right there. I may just add in H right there, or maybe Jonathan Jeremy, and see how we do it there. This is the opening to if you do not have a character yet on EVE. You need to pick a race, very first and foremost. But before we go into that, let's go ahead and discuss the background of EVE Online. Because I think it's enjoyable that they've created a lore around this game, and I wanted to share some of the key things with you. So in the year 2730, Earth's solar system has been colonized. Basically, whatever points of interest we had in the solar system have now been occupied. In the year 3691, warp technology has been discovered. For you Star Trek fans, that year for us is 2063. So, EVE, a bit more pessimistic on that front. In the year 7987, a wormhole to the territory of New Eden is discovered. Now, this territory is both a planet-based and constellation/galaxy-based. I mean, it's all there in front of you on your computer screens right now. From 1789 to 8061, New Eden, neighboring systems, and constellations are colonized at a rapid pace. So basically, humanity's just like, well, we're out of shit here, so time to go colonizing, time to go exploring, like in the good old Wild West days. Well, things went well for a while, but then in 8061, the wormhole that got them there collapses. They are now cut off from the Earth solar system sol, and they're by themselves. Fast forward now to the year 23350, the current year in game, and you've got yourself 4 major factions in game. These factions are the encompassing leaders of the area we'll be playing in. They are the Galente Federation, the Kaldari State, the Minmatar Republic, and the Amarr Empire. Now, I'll go ahead and click on each one, giving a brief overview of the Empire, and then we'll have to choose the race we'll be. Let's go ahead and start with Amarr. The Amarr Empire is the largest and oldest of the 4 empires. Ruled by a mighty empress, this vast theocratic society is supported by a broad foundation of slave labor. Amarr citizens tend to be highly educated and fervent individuals, and as a culture, Amarr adheres to the basic tenet that what others call slavery is in fact one step on an indentured person's spiritual path towards fully embracing their faith. Despite several setbacks in recent history, the Empire remains arguably the most stable and militarily powerful nation-state in New Eden. The Amarr are basically your religious fanatics of the game, folks. Next up, the Galente Federation. Champions of liberty and defenders of the downtrodden, the Galente play host to the only true democracy in New Eden. Some of the most progressive leaders, scientists, and businessmen of the era have emerged from its diverse peoples. A pioneer of artificial intelligence, the Federation relies heavily on drones and other automated systems. This is not to detract from the skill of their pilots, however. The Galente Federation is known for producing some of the best and bravest the universe has to offer. Next up, Minmatar. Once a thriving tribal civilization, the Minmatar were enslaved by the Amarr Empire for more than 700 years, until a massive rebellion freed most, but not all of those held in servitude. The Minmatar people today are resilient ingenious, and hardworking. Many of them believe that democracy, though it has served them well for a long time, can never restore what was taken from them so long ago. For this reason, they have formed a government truly reflective of their tribal roots. They will forever resent the Amarians and yearn for the days before the Empire's accursed ships ever reached their home skies. Finally, the Caldari State. Founded on the tenets of patriotism and hard work that carried its ancestors through hardships on an inhospitable world, the Caldari State today is a corporate dictatorship, led by rulers who are determined to see it return to the meritocratic ideals of old. Ruthless and efficient in the boardroom, as well as on the battlefield, the Caldari are living emblems of strength, persistence, and dignity. The Caldari are based off of megacorporations leading the nation. The Galente are the democratic folks. The Minmatari, even though they're called a republic, are actually like tribal groups, more or less. And the Amar are, in fact, the religious fanatic group. Out of these four races, I am going to go ahead and pick the Caldari. I have done some research, very little of it, but I've done it beforehand, before starting this recording, and I have found that the Caldari are best equated to what I'm looking forward to doing in this game. So, that's our race. Meet the Caldari. Next, we have to select a bloodline. For each of the four factions, you have 3 choices for a bloodline. Let's go ahead and go through each one and find out which one is best suited for our needs. This bloodline, however, has nothing to do with the actual game itself. It's just merely a lore element that has been added in, but it's pretty nice. Meet the Achura. Achura has been part of the Caldari state for 3 centuries, and yet their culture has always remained something of a mystery. Originally from the Saisa system, they are reclusive and introverted, and show little interest in the ephemeral phenomena of the material world. Intensely spiritual, Achura pilots have only recently taken to the stars, driven in large part by a desire to unlock the secrets of the universe. So, your spiritual group, as it were. Now, forgive me if I mispronounce these names. I don't know what the actual pronunciations of them are. I'm making them up as I go, which is kind of like how I like to do things. So meet the Severa. Whether engaged in trade or combat, the Severa are absolute masters of focused aggression. Highly competitive individuals, they thrive under chaotic circumstances and frenetic activity. They are often employed in highly stressful industrial and military professions due to an innate ability to think quickly on their feet and remain composed under pressure. Your military group, as it were, in the Caldari state. Finally, we have the Detius. The Detius are regarded as the face of leadership in Caldari society. Commonly possessed of sharp, ordered minds and articulate tongues, they are most often found in positions of authority within military and political spheres. Driven by the cultural premise that the good of the whole must come before the needs of the individual, they have made the responsibility of upholding the integrity of the entire Caldari state their own. Kind of interesting, that last sentence there. Driven by the cultural premise that the good of the whole must come before the needs of the individual. Sounds kind of like a pointy-eared alien I once knew. Interesting. And because of that, I'm actually going to go ahead and pick the Detius as my bloodline. Next up is the customization screen in EVE Online. This is your avatar, what you're going to be looking like, and what other pilots, players in the game will see you as. There's your full model, although most of them will only see your face kind of like this. So what you look like kind of has a slight impact on how people view you. I mean, if you don't put thought into your character, then people don't really care about you. I'm going to only go over the actual topics in this customization screen. I'm not actually going to do the customization in front of you. I'll pause the recording and come back to it. We have shape options, muscularity, and weight. We have complexion options, aging, freckles, scarring. Eye options, hair options, including hair, eyebrow hair, and facial hair. We have the details of the skin, including eyes, lashes, cheek colors, and lip tone. And we have clothing. Outer, mid-layer, top, bottom, feet, and finally, glasses. After all that, body modifications allow for the application of scars, tattoos, and piercings. So that's an overview of the customization screen. I'm going to go ahead and pause the recording here, complete the customization, and show you what I did once it's finished. So sit back and stay tuned. We'll be back right after this. And we're back, folks, and I want to show you the new avatar that we have in front of us, the new John Jeremy, as it were. We've got ourselves a nice vest, nice shirt, pants, boots. Something I want to show you all, though, is right over here. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this and take off some of the clothes here. Let's get rid of this outer top. Brings us back to the shirt level. Now I want to show you what's behind the shirt. That right there is the neural interface for what our pilot here will be using to pilot his spaceship. That's why they call us, or they call the in-game characters, capsuleers. That's how they control the capsules. Let's put the shirt and the jacket back on. Fantastic. Okay, let's go ahead and continue. Next up, we have our portrait here. This portrait is an opportunity for us to take a picture that other players in-game will see and recognize that this is our character in-game. So, for example, I can just take a picture of this right here, and as you can see, that is my face in-game. And I can move around the character, I can move around the camera, so that when I retake the picture, it changes. So that's a good one for a start. And you have a bunch of different backgrounds to choose from, 81 to be exact, and you can just go ahead and flip through them, find out which background best suits you, take another picture, like that. We go through again, find another background, like, say, this one. You can then change a pose for the character so that the body in and of itself moves. And take a new picture. You can take a picture zoomed out, like this. And you can see the whole person as a portrait, rather than just the head. So, I take a picture like this, zoom in just a bit. So now you see the body. You can change poses again, so on and so forth. So we zoom in right here, right on the face, and take a picture. Zoom out just a little bit. There you go. And finally, you can change lights in this game. So the way the picture looks when it's taken can be changed. So that looks different than that. I actually kind of like that picture. That might be my picture. You can turn them to face this way, face the camera, and there. Now you get a picture from the other side. I'm actually going to go with this picture. I kind of like it. Let's go ahead and hit next. Finally, we have what is known as the identity page. Here we choose our ancestry and we choose our education. The ancestry doesn't really matter. It's just more background for your character. Lore-wise, we have merchandisers, scientists, and tube children. Let's read through. The deities love nothing more than having complete control over their enterprises, especially industrial production. They seek personal mastery of every aspect of the process, all the way from the procurement of raw materials to the manufacturing and marketing of the final good. The deities have a beautifully combined efficiency with inventiveness, which makes them superb researchers and scientists. Between these talents and their cultural determination, the Caldari state is the leading innovator of bleeding-edge technology. That's our scientist ancestry. Finally, tube children. Acutely aware of the small population of the Caldari state versus the sprawling Galente Federation a generation ago, the Detius once utilized artificial procreation to increase their population. While this program is no longer sponsored by the state, the tube children of today were raised in inhospitable government-run orphanages. Many are fiercely independent, strong individuals loyal to the Caldari state. Of these ancestries, I'm just going to pick merchandisers, just because it really makes no difference. This, however, does. Choosing our education. We have 3 corporations here that we need to choose from. Now, these corporations are going to be our starting point in the game, their location, and the corporations in and of themselves give us missions, give us assignments. Corporations in EVE Online are like guilds in other MMO-type games. They are different, however, in that the EVE corporation structure invites chaos in a way. It's much more fine-tuned, I feel, and overall a much more enjoyable experience than I've seen in other games. Will we find ourselves in a player-run corporation? Perhaps. More than perhaps, probably. But we'll see as time goes on. Any character, when you start off EVE Online, though, you start in an NPC corporation. You can choose the State War Academy, the Science and Trade Institute, or the School of Applied Knowledge. They're all different starting points. It only really matters right here if you had a friend who was playing EVE Online and you want to just meet up with them. You can tell them which place you pick from, and you meet up with them. We're just going to go ahead and pick Science and Trade Institute because it matches the merchandiser section. And our name. Our name is going to be, hopefully, John Jeremy. We're going to check availability. Name is unavailable. Unfortunate. How about Jonathan Jeremy? Name matches out. We're good. We're going to go ahead and finalize our character. And welcome to EVE Online. We shall submit this picture as our portrait, and this is how other pilots will see us from now on. Okay, so this is new. This I've never seen before, and it's totally different from when I played, so I'm gonna have to do some research on this. And you're welcome to give me some information in the comments section, because I have no idea what this is. This is before my time. I played it, and they showed like a spaceship. So this is different. So we'll find out more about this and more next time on Let's Play EVE Online. Until then, this is J Squared John Jeremy signing out, saying so long, and take care.